So I'm very excited to announce my special guest today, Miss Shelley Rayburn. And before we start, I just want to ask each and every one of you that are here to lean in and ask yourself this question. Are you playing at a level that you know that you are capable of, or are you still playing it safe? That's just what you really, really need to consider when we're talking about this. But because our guest today, she stopped playing safe. And this is Miss Shelley Rayburn. But I just want to make a proper introduction. If you're watching this in real time, I want you to put a fire emoji in the chat if these numbers each time they blow your mind. She has submitted over 244 applications this year alone. She, in personal production, has put in over 258,000 in APV in personal production. As a team, she has, as her agency is 310 in agency production. You guys, since the middle of this year, she has recruited over 19 new writers since the middle of the year. She ended top 3 in the Lighthouse Leads contest for Denver. She was number 3 and got a prize for being in that. And she is also number 2 producer in the entire Susie Nee Neighbor agency, the master agency. And she also taught her first breakout session at conference this year. So you can see what I mean, y'all. This is not normal. Her part I want to share with you today, and here's her part. What would you happen if you raised your standards the way she did? What would your numbers look like? And what type of person and producer would you become? So drop in the chat if you're going to raise your standards and if you're ready to grow today. All right, let's get to it. So, my first question, Shelley, will go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what brought you to Symmetry and how you got started.
Goodness. Well, first, thank you for having me. It's so exciting to watch you as a new agency owner host this for the first time and do all your things. So super, super proud of you and so excited for you. So thank you for having me. Shelley Rayburn, direct to Jamie Susie and Corey Neighbor, Sarah and Jared Reinecke, Marshall, Jacob Pogue and the Marshall Whalen hierarchy, and truly so blessed to be so. I used to, and I've said this before, kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit every time I would hear someone say that. Cause I'm like, you're so blessed. Like, what? And then when you actually taste that and feel that, it's yeah, so so blessed to be here. My flag is planted. I'm going nowhere no matter how hard it gets. I'm here for the long haul. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this industry.
Started. Well, let's see. Many of you have heard parts of my story. I was on husband number 2 when I came here. I was actually married for 19 years to the father of my boys. Did military life for about 17 of those, and last deployment learned some information, and he came home to divorce papers and a new apartment. And a couple of years later, I married Philip, who several of you have either met or heard of. And I thought that he filled my cup in so many ways. And I learned that actually I was just a very broken person who had not healed from what I had gone through in my first marriage. And being married to him and him giving to his kids, we had a joint checking account, but it was not joint money. And I wanted to make some money, but I'd been a stay-at-home mom for 18 years. I had no experience in insurance. I had a degree in finance that I'd used in banking while in college and after college. It was a convenient career to have while moving around the country, but I wanted money to be able to give to my kids because he was giving to his, and I didn't feel like I could give to mine. And I came across a post of Jamie's, didn't know Jamie from Adam, didn't know what she was up to, what her life was about, nothing. I'd actually started following her like, I don't know, like 10 years prior. The whole timeline of that is crazy, but did not even know her. Saw a post that she made about this business, doing it around her family life. And I thought, oh, well, I could do that. So I sent her a Facebook message, and then here we go.
Love that. Love that. And so the power of social media and what it can do for your business. So make sure to not be a what do they call that? A
Secret
secret
agent.
agent. Yeah, a secret agent. So and I don't want to get too much into this part, but I remember, well, was it last year? Was it last year like in was it around maybe July, August? I remember the shift when it happened. I remember the call when you were sitting at the park and you were working your business from your phone. And I remember the call you had to run appointments from your car because you couldn't do it from home. So what flipped? What light bulb moment did you have that
So,
changed your business?
yeah, so that call, I mean that time was actually that was August of what are we? This is 2025. That I've been divorced now a year. So yeah, August of last year. Um, and this is where I mean in the chat as y'all were as you were talking about accountability and mentorship, this is where your mentors play a role in your life. Jamie knew what my personal life was, and Jamie made the decision to have a conversation with me that she either was willing to risk losing me or I was going to lean in more. And that conversation went a little bit like, Shelley, you're never going to hit agency owner as long as you're married to him. I was like, oh, I'm crying on the phone. My life was crap, for a nice word to say. Really, I'd say a different word. But that was on a Tuesday afternoon. And I was like, okay, I always thought I would get there. I figured it would take me longer because of who I was married to and what my personal life was, what my home life was. Um, but I just never thought that it wouldn't ever happen. So when she said that, I was like, whoa, okay. That Saturday, I'm in my office working and I am being yelled at. Like if this was my office wall, he was on the other side of the wall in our bedroom yelling at me. He's just mad because I'm working on a Saturday. He wanted my time, he wanted my attention all the time. And so I said, if you don't stop yelling, I'm leaving. He kept yelling. I packed up my laptop, all my stuff I needed to work, and I walked directly out our side door, which like he didn't even know I had left. He was still yelling when I walked out the door. I got in my car. I drove to the park to work. The very first call I made was to my attorney. And then I called my mom to let her know I had made the decision. I was done. That was it. I'm a very decisive person when I get to that point. And I worked from my car that day. I worked from Starbucks that day. I worked from the Walmart parking lot that day. I was gone for like 8 hours. I got home, got accused of cheating and all kinds of stuff when all I was doing was working and planning out what my next steps were going to be. And from there, it was we had conference right after that, came home from conference and moved my kid and I into the place where I am now. We've been here, it was a year in September. The peace and environment matters. Jamie says two things will take you out of business: your schedule and an unsupportive spouse. He was an unsupportive spouse. So big decisions, they matter. Peace, joy, happiness in your life, they matter. It matters. The people who are speaking into you and who are around you, having a peaceful environment matters. I started working in this place before I actually moved into it. The very first day I worked in here, I wrote over 6K in APV. Like, what the heck? It's just a peaceful place. And over that time, my business just grew. I hit key leader. I had massive months of production this past summer. And when you have peace in your life, beautiful things happen.
Love that. And everybody's story is different, but somebody's got, on here, you've got an excuse to why you are playing small. And Shelley just made the decision that, she was done playing small and she was ready to get her business up and moving. So if you are done playing small and you're ready to show up big time in this business and in this industry, I'd like for you to type enough in the comments. But what I want you to take a gut check, you guys, and I want you to ask yourself, how would you grade your weekly business rhythm right now? ABC or please don't ask me? I mean, really, like, how are you grading your business? Like, if you were to grade last week, how would you grade yourself? What kind of efforts are you putting in? An ABC or please don't ask me? And then let's see. Tell me, Shelley, what your weekly rhythm as of right now looks like in your biggest months, actually. What was your weekly rhythm?
My weekly rhythm is pretty much the same. Consistency became a huge part of my life. Corey, at the time we were still doing Coach in Your Corner, he talked a lot about consistency, but not only being consistent in your business life, but being consistent in your personal life. We talk a lot about, you know, reading and podcast and working out and being healthy and whatever healthy looks like for you, but pouring into yourself and filling your own cup first. So alarm goes off at 4:12 in the morning. I get up, I read, I do a prayer time, I do a devotional, I do my affirmations. I now have started doing a gratitude journal. So writing out, I'm not a journaler, so it has been a challenge, but that is part of it. And my goal is I get all of that done in the morning before I walk out the door at 5:15 for kickboxing. I go do kickboxing for an hour, come home, get ready, start my day, make breakfast for Brantley and myself. And then the goal is to always be sitting at my desk by 8:30. That routine, that morning changed everything because if I waited to read or if I waited to work out or if I waited to fill my cup, there's no way that you can go build this agency or write the production that we want to write to fill our bank accounts the way that we want to on an empty cup. You can't do that. You have to have the energy in you to be able to give to others. So that morning routine became became very important and being consistent with that. The other piece of that was posting about it every day. I came here from social media, but social media is not my thing. And so I had to change that language in my head. So it was making sure that the other piece of that was each day I was posting to my stories a video from kickboxing, a video of me walking to my car saying stupid random stuff. It's like just thoughts from Shelley's head. Um, and then posting a picture of myself with what I had done, what time I got up, the activities I did before I went to kickboxing, and then I was headed home at 6:30. I do more from 4:15 to 6:30 in the morning than a lot of people do, before they even get up. So those pieces became huge to me as I became consistent in my personal life. It just showed up here, and it was booking 15 to 20 appointments a week, sitting with 10 people. That's just the goal. And then I started to see when I'm having a hard production week, by tracking those numbers, I see when I hit sits 8 to 12, that's where the magic happens. Being consistent is it's huge. It's huge.
Consistency is that is so key here. And talking about consistency, but in this business, it's like this. I feel like this is the way we are. You're going to have your good production months. You're going to have your lower production months. But what do you do to stay consistent when you're having those lower production months?
Oh, that's when it's hard. That's when
Yeah.
you need it the most. I had a week a couple weeks ago where, and you and I talked about this, and it's like, Steph, I just only want to go kickboxing. Like, what the heck? I love kickboxing. I love my friends there. Why do I not want to get up and go? And I had to unpack that. It was, the change in the time and it getting darker earlier and then the holidays and I'm alone and I'm single and dating sucks and men in their 40s, like that's a whole different thing. And there was a lot to unpack there, but it was okay. So I see all of this happening, but the thing is if I don't get up and go to kickboxing, I don't get up and do those other things, then I don't fill my cup and I sit down at my desk in this attitude of bleh. So I have to. I have to get up and still do those things even when I don't want to. Gym bag is packed the night before. Gym clothes are laid out the night before. There's no excuse to why I should not get up and go. Tired is not an option. You just teach your body it's what you do. So when you don't want to, that's when you have to dig in more and just do it, because the more you do it, the more you will get out of that icky feeling of, I don't want to. That's why we say dial until. It's not about how many dials I did today. It's about, did I set the 3 appointments? That's my goal every day. Set 3 appointments, whether that's 30 dials or some days that's 145 dials. You just do it until your body knows what to do, your mind knows what to do. That's why consistency is key, because when you don't want to do it, it's just what you do.
Yeah. And there's days that when we talk, you've only set one appointment and you'll say, "Well, I'm not quitting until I get my 3 appointments for the day." And you dial until. That's what consistency is. That's what showing up for your business looks like. What would you say one of the biggest habits, or one of the best habits that you've created that's brought your biggest return?
Oh.
Besides going to the gym and those guns you got.
I think the best habit is just giving to myself. Um, and I've had to teach myself how to do that. I get up early in the morning for me. I don't do that for anybody else. As a stay-at-home mom for 18 years, I poured into a military spouse and 2 boys, and then I poured into a narcissistic husband and his 4 kids and 3 grandkids, and I got lost somewhere along the way in all of it. So I did a post the other day from, it was kind of from a sermon is what inspired it, but my plan A was husband number one. That didn't work out. My plan B was husband number two. I thought this would be forever. That didn't work out either. My plan C, it's me. It's giving to me. And what does Shelley want in this phase of her life? Kid number one is 22. He's in college. Kid number two is 18. He graduates from high school in May. He's going to college. I move next September. I have no clue where I'm going. I don't know what it's going to look like. But for the first time in my life, I get to choose. What does Shelley want? It's not a home for anybody else. It will be my home and it will be about me. So pouring into me, letting me go be whatever I want to be, that's been my new thing.
Love that. Love that. All right. So we're getting to the meat and the potatoes of the call. And I really want to know for you, well, agents watching, listen closely because this is the part of the call that's going to make you money this upcoming week. So tell me, tell me, Shelley, what you think maybe sets you apart from other agents that you do differently on the phone.
That I do differently on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On the phone, I'm a human.
Yeah.
I'm a human. I talk to my leads how I talk to my friends. I could talk to you. I could talk to Tara. I could talk to any of you on the phone, and it would be the same kind of conversation as I talk to a lead. How I text you with emojis and saying y'all and girl and bro, my leads get that same vibe, that same Shelley. And yeah, go make a friend, like Tara, go make a
Yeah.
friend and lead with your heart. That's what I always say. It's be yourself, be who you are. Don't text one way and then show up on the phone as someone else. That's why, like, when you're texting, it is important that your snippets, even if you're using like, if you're in Switchboard and you're using those pre-done ones, change them to sound like you, tweak them up a little bit. Um, Meg Madison shared her snippets a whole long time ago. I think her and Amber, you may have been part of that. I don't remember, to be honest, but I then took those and I tweaked them just a little bit to sound like me. So it's how I talk. And just be a human. Be human. People want to work with people who care, and show your heart. Be real, raw, and relatable. Be transparent. That's one of the biggest things I get on the phone from people thanking me, that even if I can't help them, it happened yesterday. An 83 and an 84-year-old couple, the coverage made no sense for them. And he literally said, Shelley, what would you do if you were me? And I'm like, well, if I was you, I wouldn't do this. And if you were my parents and we were having this conversation, this makes no sense for you. He says, I really appreciate you being so transparent and straightforward with me. Great. So did I make any money on that lead? No. But someone now trusts me out there. And then when I said at the end, please feel free to share my information with whomever is in your circle, whether it's a question, a conversation, or they need protection, I'm happy to help in any way possible. I sure will. And he thanked me again. So it's not always about making money. It's about how you can help people. There are not a lot of brokers out there that will just be real and honest with people.
No, I 100% agree. 100%. It's not always about the sale. It's not. I mean, it's what's best for your client. And I feel like you really truly do that and you care for your clients. One of the biggest things that you've taught me that I try to teach my agents as well is you don't go into it just writing one application most of the time. You write two to three, if not four, applications per sit. And the way, talk to us a little bit about what you always pair, because I know you do a lot of critical period. What does that process look like, and yeah, tell us about that, what you
So
do.
yeah, I write a lot of critical period. When I started here 4 years ago, I had a lot of older sick people. It didn't have like the fun, easy term policy, so I had to learn critical period. And if you don't know what critical periods, there is videos out there for you to watch. But it's equity protection, helping people protect the equity in their home with using their mortgage payment. So you're using a whole life policy, but I had to get really good at that. The Rex Knight SoundCloud was what I was my major tool. I took and I wrote it out. I paused it. I wrote it out. The notebook is actually sitting right here on my desk still. And um, I kept it on my desk. He talks about the three reasons why people don't buy. They don't understand what you're talking about, which happens with critical periods. So you have to be able to then go back and re-explain. They don't see value, and you can't fix that. If they don't see the value in what you're offering them, you can't change that really. And they don't have the money. Sometimes you can adjust to fit within a budget for them, but if they truly don't have money, you can't change that either. Um, Value you can work on by pulling out their pain points and digging more into their why. But at the end of the day, if they don't see the value, they don't see the value. But I left that on my desk until I knew it like the back of my hand. And so that whole life policy, my posture with that with my clients now, provided that they are not yet 71, is to always layer a accidental death policy with a whole life policy. I don't ask their permission. I just tell them, now this is after we've gone through critical period, the whole life. They've picked an option. We're within budget. If there's room in the budget to layer in an accidental death, I just tell them. So when I write whole life protection on my clients, I layer it with an accidental death policy. And this is why. I then tell the Miller story. And it's just stories sell, y'all. I mean, use your stories. I mean, I have an insurance story. That was part of why I came here too as well. And you can always just say, my friend, I have a friend that I work with, and you tell the story. And if you don't know that story, it's out there as well. The short version is an accidental death policy is what paid off the mortgage for Ryan Miller's mom. It was the only coverage that was in place. It was a $150,000 accidental death policy. Depending on what their mortgage payoff is, a lot of times then, because I'm talking about $150,000 accidental death, that's where I start from my option, $150,000. So If it works and it's in the budget, I always just say, this is what I do. That's just my posture. I'm the expert. They're trusting me, they're leaning into me. Um, so yeah, that's what I do. It's not that 244 apps sounds absolutely amazing. It does. A lot of those are accidental death policies because I layer that in with a whole life because you just truly don't ever know. The other piece of that is when I tell the Miller story, I let them know it's coverage I believe in. I have it on myself. I have it on both of my boys. I don't write an obscene amount of coverage of it because I'd rather your money go towards that whole life policy as much as possible. It's just a layer. It's a layer of protection to add for the just in case.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things that I've learned from you is how you do that and how like I mean the 244 apps is insane. I really do think that, but it's amazing what you've done here. Tell me what skill do you think that helped you master closing, like changed your close rate? Does that make sense? So, what
Um,
skill did you learn that you feel like changed your close rate?
Listening. You have to listen. When you're running these appointments with people and you're going through budget, you're going through their options, and then you say, how does that make you feel? You have to sit there and shut up. You sit in the silence, that uncomfortable, sweaty, icky silence, but you have to shut up and you have to listen. If you listen, especially if you have a husband and a wife, there's so many nuggets that you pick up listening to the two of them talk. And y'all, I mean stacks. I got stacks of papers here because I am a pen and paper person. I make notes on my dials. I make notes just in conversation that I have throughout the appointment. So if I need to circle back to anything, I can. But listening to what people want, what they're wanting to protect, who they're wanting to protect. You can pick up financial notes as well. You can pick up on how tight things are or what they're worried about. But listening, and then when you're giving those options, you sit there and you shut up and you listen to what that husband and that wife says. And the best compliment you can get to that is when they say, are you still there? Oh yeah, I'm here. I was just waiting until you were ready, how did that make you feel? What did y'all think about that? When they ask that back, they're so engrossed in what they're talking about, they kind of forget that you're sitting there until they're like, okay, wait a second, she's been so quiet. That's the thing. That's it. So listening and sitting in that silence, that is a skill. Sitting in that silence is a skill because it's uncomfortable. And like Jenny said in there, Casey says that too. First person to talk loses. So you gotta sit there and shut up.
And that, I mean, that really is a skill. That really, because
It's hard.
I so want to break that silence. But such good advice. So everyone watching, leadership starts long before the title. Leadership starts even when you have one person looking up to you. That's part of leadership. And what I want you to do is just everybody just dream for a second about where you want this business to take you and what you want it to look like now in 12 months. So tell me, Miss Shelley, what is something that you're dreaming about and really excited about?
Well, I mean, there's a few things there. I
Mm.
mean, I had wanted to hit agency owner by the time I'd been here 4 years. That didn't happen. That's okay. That's not my journey. We talk a lot about journey here, and some people come in like Jim came in, he'd had years of personal growth and development and trials and tribulations that he'd gone through before he got here. I came here like as an infant. The only personal development I'd done was like church and reading my Bible, which is really something very different. That's just your faith. So I'd never done any of that here. And I went through major life change a year ago. And so giving myself grace to embrace the journey and how it plays out. has been big, but I'm excited to hit AO when that time comes and when it's right. And you and I have talked a lot about this because I could go write that production on my own pen. 100% I could go do that. I've had 6 writers. Like I could go do that, but that's not what I want. I want an agency. I want people who want to be here. I want people to build this with. So embracing that journey. I'm excited for what lies ahead with my youngest and graduating, being an empty nester. Where am I going to live next? Is it going to be a house? Is it going to be a condo? Is it going to be a townhouse? Is it going to be in the city? Is it going to be, and like, I don't know. So there's unknowns out there that probably would scare a lot of people. And for me, it's exciting. I don't need to have every part of that planned out. I don't need to have control over it. I don't have a tight grip on it. I'm really more like this. It's let go and let God, and it'll all happen when and how it's supposed to. And so, yeah, I'm excited about all of that. 2 kids at my alma mater is super exciting to think about. And oh, you
Roll
better beat
Tide.
Bama. Yeah. So,
I just sneak that in there.
yeah, no, we're gonna make it 2 in a row. But yeah, and all of that is just it's exciting. It's exciting.
Well, okay. So tell me, what do you now believe about yourself that you didn't before?
Ooh, I am a strong, badass woman, and I can literally do whatever I can put my head around. And head around is in not like I need to figure it all out. It's whatever I can just move forward in one step at a time. I don't need I don't need the whole path lit for me. It's God's going to light it up as I walk through it, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
And like I don't know, a way I've seen things, a lot of people that have a lot of major breakthroughs when they're at their lowest point. That's when you just see that success and people really rise to the occasion. Like you really will hit bottom, and then it's all about like what are you willing to do to make your life better. So, tell me one of the most transformative books that you've read.
Oh, that's easy. I mean, Gap in the Gain. That I still follow it to this day. I still send my 3 wins for today, 3 wins for tomorrow to Jamie and Corey every night. And a matter of fact, and you know about this, so I'll share it. I had a couple nights there around Thanksgiving where I didn't send them, and Jamie sent me a text. She's like, "What happened to our wins?" with the sad face emoji. I'm like, "Well, I've just really kind of felt like crap, so I didn't send them." Well, then that Monday, I got a call from Corey. He's like, "Hey, Shelley, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm okay." He's like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't say I'm good." So I don't run from anything. And that's the cool thing about your mentors here. And when you have those relationships, which by the way, if you don't know, that mentor mentee relationship goes both ways. They have a responsibility and you have a responsibility too. It is not one sided. No one, y'all can't expect Jim to pour into you if you're not carrying your weight in that relationship as well. I can't expect Jamie and Corey to always show up for me if I'm not showing up for them and showing up as my true authentic self too. But Gap in the Gain has been huge. Self-aware leader has been huge. I'm looking at my books over here. Extreme ownership. That book was huge in the sense of because it's not just about extreme ownership in your business, it is about extreme ownership in your life. Taking ownership of the good days and the bad days. Like on your tracking sheet for your activity, when you're at a 0, own that freaking 0. Don't go throw some number in there that's not true. Own your 0. If you didn't show up and do what you were supposed to do that day, you own that. You get to own the good, but you have to own the bad um, as well. And so those are 3 of my favorites. Right now, I'm reading a book called Happy Money, and I'm learning that I'm not very happy with my money right now. So I'm working on that.
Okay. So, and last question,
Okay.
if agents watching could borrow your belief for the next 30 days, what would you want them to believe in for themselves?
I would want you to believe that you can do anything. And if you just keep up and keep going every single day and just put one foot in front of the other, no matter how bad it seems or how hard it seems or how nasty people are on the phone or you're not closing the appointments that you want to, that you're just one more call away. You are one more step away into just keep going. You're not ever going to get where you want to get if you stop. Be
Exactly.
consistent, get up, and keep going.
So, if you're listening and you are willing to commit to the next 30 days, in that belief that she just shared, drop a 30 in the comments. But I just want to wrap this up with because of what you saw today, is this isn't talent, you guys. This isn't luck. It wasn't commitment, or it was commitment. It was commitment. It was consistency, and it was finding out who she truly was in her identity. And that same opportunity is actually in your hands. If she can do it, we all can do it. Same system, same leads, same training. You know what the only thing different is? The only thing different there, if we all have the same leads, same system, same training, the only variable left is you. So you're the one that's got to decide. You're the one that's got to make the decision that you're going all in on yourself. You're going all in on this business. So I hope you all enjoyed our special guest. I love you, girl. Thank you for being our special guest for today. And I just truly think you're amazing and love watching your journey. So.
Thank you for
If you
having me.
will, if you have watched this, drop a comment in the chats about what you thought about this call and share it with your team. So we truly appreciate you, Shelley, so much. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate you too, girl. Thanks for having me.
All right. Everybody go make today great.